It's ETF2L during a massive heat wave. I'm struggling. I'm going through this, but if you're struggling as well, you found the right place here on Essentials TF. We still soldier on into this 6v6 season, season 52, week 4. That is the ETF2L season, not the amount how long the heat wave has been going on. Speaking of fellow sufferers, I'm suffering with you, Tabs. Nighty is also suffering, aren't you, Nighty?
Oh, it is. It is boiling. It is. It's not pleasant.
I can promise you as well that Samus, the production, is very much boiling and suffering as well. So, oh boy. Okay, Nighty, let's turn our fans on. Let's get our collective attention over to our Week 4 game. It's going to be Garda Panteri versus Club Lugs. These are two teams that have been dodging me all season. I saw a little bit of them right at the start, and I'm sure they've been full of growth since then. How about you at all? Have you been seeing Garda? Have you been seeing Club Lugs at all?
I watched a little bit of the Lugs game. What must have been like 2 nights ago. It was interesting for sure. If Garda's done their homework, I reckon they might pick up a spy off class for this. But we'll have to see if Pigeon's adapted. But yeah, I think Garda are favourites if you're a gambling man. I think they're pretty clear favourites. They've got some great roster, but I think it'll still be close. Metalworks, at least on the first map, Metalworks is such a tug of war map. It's so long. You don't get these roll coast to coast like you see on every other map. So I think we might see something more reserved on this map, and maybe an upset.
Yeah, potentially. This is one of the few times I actually see a teams run a heavy fist fight to decide which side gets red. I assume that they both want, and Loopy has just decided to just back out completely, and Bud just ends it all. Is that a technical foul? I don't know.
Apparently both sides have cheated in this. So
yeah, you're not supposed to run away, but also you're not supposed to fire down on the person that's running away. Maybe it should be like sumo rules, like no guns, but also no running out the ring.
Yeah, no, I think it's got to be. Otherwise, where's the sportsmanship?
Yes, and I do see some members of Club Lugs joining Blue now, so I think they have certainly forfeited this. I don't know what the fascination is for red on this map in particular. Like, it's a very symmetrical map. I'm not sure if you've got your ear close to the ground when it comes to Metalworks.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is some kind of rollout or mid that they prefer on red, or maybe it's just superstition and some mind games.
I have seen some YouTube psychology videos where red is a powerful color. Like, apparently, if you see red, you're a lot more likely to be intimidated than seeing the color blue. So maybe they just want us to squeeze out every little bit of advantage here over on Garda. But I mean, maybe they're right, because this is close for these two teams. They've been playing in a top tier season, which means that it's a Swiss system in this season 90. So if they've been winning and losing roughly around the same amount of times, they're going to more than likely meet each other in these week-to-week games, and thus Garda and Club Lugs have met each other. They've all taken one win away, but otherwise they've been kind of stumbling for the season.
Yeah, it's definitely seems that both teams have had not so much a rocky start, but a bumpy one. So now, I mean, you'd expect a little bit better from Garda because they have some great players on there. But maybe they're trying to play the Swiss and come back into playoffs. We'll have to see.
We do have a substitution tonight. I think it's Eon has managed to eke his way through from the Plucky Lookers straight onto the roster of Garda. I think this is just a Merc, though. I don't think he's left, and he's left Mac in the lurch by any means, unless you've been checking ETF2L rosters as well.
So is it double points for the fantasy if he plays again, or?
I think you do get points, yeah. If they Merc in, you do get points. So if you have a chance to change out your fantasy team now, this is probably the moment you need to do it. But it also means if Eon has a very rough game tonight and he goes into the minus, you will be feeling the wrath of your fantasy stock market.
Yeah, I mean, I had to cut 2 players this week, and it was brutal on my points. So I'm really hoping now that Eon has a great game, because I'm way down in the trenches.
Yeah, I wonder if they could ever set up a system over if Twiku can make it so they message each player about how well their progress is that they're doing, or who cuts them. You know, they just get a little message like "Bing bong," like "What? 90 cut me? How the hell?"
That'd be good. Yeah, like real time analytics. No, I think it'd be fun. Be a bit of banter.
I think these players genuinely do kind of play up a little bit for the fantasy. I know the LAN events and whatnot where we've had fantasy, they'll like check the little stats and bring it all up. So I can only assume that the fantasy points is going to be powering through strong tonight. But enough about fantasy. Now back into reality. We are starting off our Week 4 game. It is CP Metalworks. It is Garda Panteri versus Club Lugs. And it is I, Tabs, joined with 90 and Samus on production. Already, EV is turned up nice and early for the mid.
Yeah, I mean, much better mid. They've just taken mid control immediately, forced everyone out. And it's looking like to be a comfortable mid unless there's going to be some late bombs coming in. They do manage to find the demo here. And can Eon manage to eke his way out, gets that health pack? Health numbers are bad, but Garda still have the player advantage and have mid half capped. Are they going to be able to force Club Lugs back off? But it looks like Club Lugs might be able to flip this mid now, as they have a little bit of player ad momentum coming in here. And it looks like, yeah, Garda Panteri will have to back off, and mid ultimately goes the way of Club Lugs. That was chaotic and quite scrappy.
Yeah, these teams certainly just let their combat, their soldier classes just kind of jump in, and they were just kind of spectating, like, boy, I hope our side wins out on this mid. But and because they had a man up rather than another soldier over on the Club Lugs, I think they were more likely to win that from a slow fight. So I credit to Garda, though. They tried staying in for a little bit, but when they realised, no, we're Demoman down, he's reloaded, we need to back out.
Yeah, and here we go. Club Lugs setting in a sack. See what they can get. Nothing. They're going to have to back out. And it's again another staring contest. I don't know about you, but not a fan of this second point, honestly.
Oh, you've met your maker, because I love this second point. I actually adore this second point. I think this is one of the strongest points. But there is this little hole in the lobby area. It's called the door, where Bud just walks in and kills the enemy flank on it, and that makes it really compromising for Club Lugs, because you might think, okay, the whole enemy team is going to bust in our flank now. We haven't got any eyes on it, so you're forced to back out just for the potential, and that's what they've done. They backed out, and they're just kind of waiting for things to reset. And Bud, I bet, is a bit annoyed that his team didn't really take advantage of his bust in there.
Well, 100%. Like, you know, you go in and try and make all the space, make things happen, create noise, and just nothing's made off of it. You've got to be at least a little bit annoyed. But at the moment, I guess we're setting back up again for another Valley push. They've got their soldiers buffed here. Let's see what they're going to do with it. And here come the sacks landing onto point. He does get denied in the air, and it's looking like another nothing ever happens type second. A little bit of a fight happening in house, but lobby, sorry, but nothing major here, and we're back to staring each other through Valley.
All right, I can feel the seething hatred that you have for this point now. So don't worry, I can. Maybe I'll have a chance to explain it if these two gamers cannot really figure out how to kind of brust and break apart their little fighting points. Oh, well, I've been kind of cut off short as they managed to break in, and this time the entire team has taken advantage of Bud's little bust through.
I mean, really nicely done. They managed to find both picks, and off that pressure, they've been able to come back into mid. The Uber exchange here has gone the way of Club Lug, of Garda. Sorry, I've lost my words. And they've been able to just push in and they just take the point without any issues. And now we're back to second again. Maybe they can find the better sacks through Valley, or maybe they're going to try something else. But we'll have to see.
Yes, now you thought, aha, we've just escaped the second misery. Finally, we could, oh no, we're back at second again. This is so cool. But we'll see how Bud and how he wants to operate and all this. Maybe if they die a few times, we can really go into my long-winded lecture about why I think the second point is just so cool. But Yarlin, he's trying to make space for Bud to initially go in. They're aiming for Rivka, takes the health back from underneath Bud, and that buys a little bit more space for his team and a bit more nervousness for poor Club Lugs to actually deal with this. Fat Pigeon counters with an Uber charge, but this is all in the plan book for Garda, as if they can just keep Eon alive, who's going to get pressured a little bit from Griggs underneath. He's brought down so goddamn low, but just not enough to finish him off. And if they need to keep all their ducks in a row for this Uber charge to pay off here, they need to console themselves a little bit, make sure they don't lose any more people over on the side of Garda.
Yeah, I mean, brilliant initially from Garda, creating all that space, getting in, getting their scouts in and finding that force. But suddenly they've been pushed back onto second. Maybe they do have Ubrad now. Maybe they can try and find some sacks in through second. But instead,
Gigi?
here comes Gigi landing on Eon, and it's not going to taken very low on 10 HP. Maybe this is the go that Garda have desperately searching for. But it is going to be an even last. But will Garda take this player advantage early? You have Yalin looking to go in through mid here, and dies? It was a sticky trap, I guess, and didn't think to check. So now it's back to even players.
Yes. There was no real harm, I would say, and GG going through it there. You realise if you have the Uber charge at last, you're going to get that guaranteed protection on point. And by that point, he's going to come back to the world of the living and managing to kind of fight with his team. So I don't really hate his death too much in that instance there. Yarlin, someone has to die for the cause in an evil stalemate, so he's just going to suicide himself in, I would say. I'm being very nice here, maybe he just didn't notice, but he will come back on Sniper, and this map is quite Sniper possible. It's one of the harder ones if you're trying to get to a medic that's changed his position, which Fat Pigeon has done, and they're even doubling down here by setting up some Iron Man armor for him.
Yeah, I mean, this map, especially at this level, is known for its SVSs, and it's just a game of cat and mouse. They've really got to make sure that they can find those little advantages, little spots that they can get any player through. But yeah, I mean, at this point, you just want to sort of be getting your soldiers forward, probably trying to open that shutter for your sniper to try and make space, and he does find Loopy. So this is, again, a great look. Yalin, again, looking to try and make something happen on that right, trying to get pressure, but no, the soldier is there to deny him any space. Again, they still have this player ad. Whether they'll take it is Tantu with a nice, well, I guess you could call it an air shot, found him on the way down. And again, it's two-player ad. They're still being very conservative with this Uber charge and with their ad. They don't want to waste it. They just want to slowly get their way in. And Tantu nearly finding Fat Pigeon, but at the end of the day, the dispenser armor proving very, very effective there for Fat Pigeon. And suddenly now they have to leave.
Now, I know a lot of people would look at this last point, all these sequence events and things like, God, this is some boring TF2. Nothing's really happened, but has it not? I see two gamers doing masterful games of chess. I use this move and it counters this. I predict you're going to do this, so I send in my soldier, and it does finally force out the bomb against Fat Pigeon. And very well played out by Bud there, realizing that Tantu will be too slow to come up, but if he jumps now, risks a little bit of his side's sort of defenses, he can come in and get the bomb onto Fat Pigeon before the dispenser is fully healed, before the sentry gun is at that potent level 3, and before there's any auto setup from this last Club Lug. So again, this has just been lovely TF2 to watch between these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, Garda, I guess they're on last. They don't feel they need to rush this. They just want to make sure they have their advantages coming in. But that Uber advantage they once had has been cut down to 30. They've been building very, very aggressively. And here comes Uber in through left. Not finding anything initially, looking for that sentry gun. It does go down in the initial parts of that Uber. And the Uber is ending on point. They have the players to start off with, but the Uber is now available for Club Lugs. Bood coming in with a bomb, not going to find anything as that Uber is popped. And it's falling apart here for Panteri. Tantu on the point, trying to cap that and make it that clutch, but not going to happen. And we're back on last again. They have, well, Club Lugs don't really have the players at the moment to push out. Hopefully we'll see it, but nah, they're going to opt to just see this last 17 seconds out and take the even mid. What a last push.
Yeah, it was maybe the Uber didn't really do enough work as I was hoping for it to allow. They did start off well by getting the pick early onto Gigi, but they rotated a lot of players out of that Uber side to get that pick onto Gigi, and they decided to come in dry, a bit unexpected, and maybe we're getting a harsh lessons of why teams don't do that, but I guess it's just because of that final little seconds of the stalemate. There's no real risk in trying to make a final go at it, and I was just as shocked at the time as maybe some of our audience members was there. I was just so lost in the TF2 I didn't see the timer.
Yeah, it's certainly not one that I was paying too much attention to. But yeah, at that point when it's just so low, you might as well just get in and try and make something happen. So as you say, no major qualms there, and we're back on this mid. We'll have to see who is faster, and it's looking like it's pretty even actually, and very different opening here from both demos. One going in through choke, one coming in through main. Eon does get to the demo. Eon going very low, and it's a disaster immediately for Garda Panteri. They've lost 3. They have to try and make something happen here. Bat Pigeon taken down very low at 47, but they bunkered her really, really well, and this is going to be an easy mid for Club Lugs.
Yeah, I think you're seeing why the meta is a lot more driven around this valley area for holding and potential. Yes, potentially you can give up ground against the enemy team when they get nice and early on your crate and on the point itself, but I feel like your recovery options on all your players are so much easier. You have these nice little nooks to heal your players away from enemy sight lines with the crossbow. You also have a little health pack as well that you have easy access to. The Demo Man feels very at home playing this point, while over everybody else on concrete, it's kind of clubbed together, and when you want to back out, you're all taking this teeny tiny door and you're sharing the same damage, and yeah, it just feels very claustrophobic. I think I always liked Club Lugs' move up straight from the get-go. Shappy blocking out the Uber with a pyro. This is always very... Oh, crit screen coming out from Bud. It's 2009 and we're Ubering, we're critzing soldiers, and we actually find a kill with it more than any demo man I've seen in this nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, that was really, really nice. Eon knew he wasn't going to get that Uber in time, so switching on to the crits, we've definitely seen it before. You do fall into that risk, though, sometimes, of getting stuck on that crits, as we saw at Poland. It was a big problem. But no, this time, manages to find the crits and takes the Uber charge, and they can take it back forward, and they've taken second here, and it's a player advantage as Loopy has gone down, and they're choosing to take this through under, not getting in too much. They want to take their time here. They want to make sure they're not walking into any traps, and they want to play this nice and safe. And here comes Bombs, which chooses to fade away. Tantu coming to try and counter bomb, and it is GG that will die. Going very low though in that counter bomb. But does manage to
Pigeon
live
on his own. Could have get shot down just enough to force out the Uber charge, and Tantu is trying to spam them from behind. Shappy's also behind as well. It seems everybody's invited to the party, especially Fat Pigeon, who goes down. Had one too many drinks at this party and will end up falling to the floor, and Bud just needs to kind of keep Eon alive at this point, and it should be quite easy because they all get a fat buff, and there's going to be no fat buffs over on Club Lugs.
Ooh, that looked a bit dangerous there, as Dominic nearly does get picked up there, but no, at the end of the day, he does pick up Loopy, and it's going to be I think it's just going to be a standard, get everyone buffed up, take it through left, but we might see something a bit different here. Everyone's on decent health. Fat Pigeon is on 44 Uber. They've got plenty of time to get people in, and they have used the Uber in through left, pretty standard, and it's been denied a little bit. The sentry gun goes down nice and early, and now those traps come in onto the shutter. They have been denying the players, and Tantu comes in, doesn't quite finish Fat Pigeon. Very, very low, got taken very low, but not enough in the end. Loopy comes forward looking for that demo man. Not going to find it though, as those pipes were enough to pick them up, and it's looking like Garda are running for the hills.
I promise you, Nighty, that there's somebody from Uncle Toby watching this gameplay and thinking, why does Garda not know that you can't cap the point when you're Uber charged? But bless Yarlin, he was trying to cap that point like he thought he definitely could. Like, why isn't it working? He just wasted the entire Uber, just literally sat on there shooting the point like you're supposed to be captured right now. What's going on? But okay, this is an interesting play from Garda, trying to come in at the flank at the same time. I guess they were expecting for Lightning to strike twice because that was the previous comeback sort of maneuver that got them the turnaround round last time. And they hold their ground with only 2 players, and they are getting farmed a little bit. This is actually a decent Uber from Garda. And if now the next mission is just to try and track down Fat Pigeon. Oh, actually, no, we're backing out. We're just backing out completely. I guess we're not trusted in the respawn numbers that are coming in. Eevee overextends and will actually get the kill onto the Doorman. So this is actually going okay. Oh, what a massive overposition from poor Club Lugs here. I guess they were feeling confident or the safe bosom of their Uber charge, and they're going to get forced out. But look at all these just like scam scouts just running around, dodging this Uber, easy peasy. And the medic and the Doorman don't have really the same sort of ease of time to get and traverse these areas as much as the scout does. Bud brought down super low, can't quite get the crossbow yet, gets finished off with the 6 HP chipper and will lose out his life to Loopy in this very turbulent time. Ubercharge any minute now for Eon and company, so they're just trying to buy more time. Please, for the love of God, keep fighting. We need to just stick this out. Another one goes down here. I promise you this Ubercharge is going to come in big. Just invest as we keep sticking around. They finally have the Ubercharge now, and now what can they do with it? They go straight in, but they're not looking at the Ubercharge. But the Ubercharge comes back for all their poor foes on the backline. They come back into it. They want to reconnect with Yarlin and gets the follow-up kill on this. They will even keep chasing on this. They keep farming, they keep fragging, and the Ubercharge is coming stonks.
Unbelievable. Just not as willing to take that forward. They know that Club Lugs don't have the Uber and just decide to run at them. The Uber bought them all the space that they needed to come forward, and in the end, Pigeon goes down. They buy themselves a massive player advantage here on last. And it's going to be, again, playing a little slow. They have a massive Uber advantage. Oh!
Oh, Loopy was just left off the chain like a dirty dog, and they just put him down. They put him down, didn't they? And the Griggs, he's the one needs to fight against Yarlin, but Yarlin is fighting around the point. He has caused all of his teammates to come back into the fight, though. Eon was a believer for half a second there, and then a brief strip of reality brings him back. Luckily, he manages to get back out, and Bud comes back to what can only be explained as a bin fire. Like, what the hell do you guys do whilst I was away?
I'm not too sure what I just watched. I mean, Garda Panteri come in with massive ad here and big player ad, and they just seem to squander it. They just run to the point and just get farmed on the point. Not a lot of focus fire, maybe a communication issue, but they do manage to retake the second. There's going to be another even last push. We'll see what they do with it. Maybe send in sacks, trying to find the medic or a sentry gun or something. But yeah, we'll have to see.
Well, they're building a level 1 sentry gun now. I guess they were kind of holding off a little bit over on Club Lugs, thinking that Garda could jump in and pop in at any moment, so they want to get something maybe ready a bit better than a level 1. But now feeling the calm of the air, they're going to build that sentry gun up to level 2 at least. Yarlin is walking in. Oh, he's walking in while the sentry gun's being moved. Oh no, that disaster. Thank goodness Eevee is on the case. I don't know what the mission plan was there, but that was excellent timing from Garda, but it was just an awful target.
Yeah, it was. Shappy looking like they're just going to pick up like a bit of Loopy to get some consolation prize from that. But no, the idea was there, the theory was in place. Maybe try and get that gun, trying to find what you can do, but Eevee just coming out on top and denying any sense of getting anything out of that sack. But Yalin has come up on the sniper, looking through shutter. Maybe looks to find something, but no, misses on that first shot. And they're going to come back, reset, find another angle. Neither side playing too aggressive here. They don't want to make the mistake that cost them a round. It is 11 minutes now. Got to be start thinking about that timer. But at the moment, both sides settling in for the long run.
Well, this was an exact same scenario that Bud and company were working with before, and they did manage to break this down actually really admirably over on Garda. So I'm enjoyed to see if they can replicate it again, or if they were just got a bit lucky last time. But I think the weak chain in all of those events before was Gigi just getting caught off guard by Tantu in this sort of middle section of their breakdown. Bud is actually going to go in straight away and see if he can just try his luck against Fat Pigeon, but you can see all the health taken away from that dispenser and not from the medic. That's got to be so frustrating if you're a soldier. So, and it's a level 3 as well, so it's just got that little bit more extra health than usual. They're going to have to think more in the similar chain that they were thinking the first time they make this push, rather than just throw in the soldiers. The soldiers only worked last time because of all that chain before.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, at this point, it's going to be very, very hard to get that sentry gun set up. It's all established. They're waiting for the soldiers. They know that they want to run it. So it's going to be a hell of a lot harder for Garda to try and recreate what they had before. But Bood, damn to it, is going to try it again. Does manage to land on Fat, but nearly taking her out on the man treads. Something that I've been very opposed to in the past, but they do manage to pick up a trade in the end in that little right hand side. But unfortunately, Tantu does fall in the end. Yalin still trying to make something happen on that sniper, but I don't know how successful he will be. Taking a peek from this far left hand side, he might just get caught out by that sentry, but sees it and thinks better in the end. And
I was just going to say, you're right. It's very hard to actually get that sniper sight line over on Fat Pigeon with that sentry gun there. Even if you got the sight line off, that sentry gun's going to knock your aim just a little bit off course. And Yarling actually gets picked off there, trying the only other door they could try in all of this little exchange. It's a real shame. I think they had like the plan, the recipe to actually break down this this hole, but they're just refusing to do it. Compared to the first round.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you just sort of have to send the trade in and see what you can get. They do find the dispenser. They do find the Uber as well. No sentry gun, though. I mean, it's looking like a very, very scrappy get the Ubers out. And, Shappy goes down in that post. And it's, again, just a bit of a staring contest, ultimately, and we go back to mid.
Credit where credit's due. Club Lugs do run a tight ship when it comes to this last hole. They know why they need to start moving to the places where they need to go and why they need to have certain people hold certain areas and such. And discredit to Garda. They've kind of pulling punches a little bit, in my opinion. I will give a little shout out to Fat Pigeon. It takes a lot of brain power to make sure you just don't run into those old habits as medic where you see a soldier jumping on you, but you trust in the armor. The armor's going to work, so you just sit there planted and crouched when sometimes, your brain takes over in the panic and the fear.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to learn how to do nothing, and that, again, proved massive. But, again, Garda taking all the space on this mid at the moment. They're forcing them all into Valley. Fat Pigeon taking very low, and it's looking like a wipe immediately here for Club Lugs.
Well, Nighty. Look, they basically had a rough time on concrete, and they're like, guys, your Valley rollout was so much better than ours. We're gonna copy it. This is a great idea. So they just copied it 1 for 1, and they had a much better time of executing on similar target. And I suppose they were a bit pre-positioned for Club Lugs dealing with against the concrete play.
Yeah, I think they decided to realise that, hey guys, this isn't working. Let's just bomb them in Valley. And clearly that's worked. Everyone was so bunched up trying to get away from the pressure, and the two soldiers of Bood and Tantu just proving too much. Again, I think Garda, they can take their time, but it's looking like they might be taking a bit too much time here. And the Uber does come in. Sentry does go down. Yalin looking to try and edge that cap there, but too many stickies on that point. They're looking just to find some of the some picks here to make capping easier. The heavy is still up, but it's falling apart finally for Club Lugs, and Garda finally secure their first round.
Very nice from Garda. You saw the adjustments there. Basically, they weren't trying to force this point as much. They realised, okay, we're not really biting too well with this Uber. We can't really get into the crux of them because I just don't believe they have the heart that they'll have enough damage to actually do anything in that. So they just play this line instead where they get past the initial point, get their soldiers set up, find the easy targets, which are these soldiers jumping around, and then they collectively hide and come out the woodworks at the same time to deal with Loopy on this heavy weapons guy. Very nice from Garda.
Yeah, very nice. We'll have to see what Garda try and do again. It's looking like that they want to try and take the space and recreate what they managed to have last time, but it's a much lower mid. Bood in the air. We're going behind, not going to find anything. Does go down for his troubles. both soldiers no longer left for Garda Panteri. But again, Club Lugs have lost both their soldiers, and it's going to be again another comfortable mid. Yalin going behind, seeing what mischief he can cause, but it might cost him his life. And ultimately, we're out. It's going to be even-ish Ubers, and Garda Panteri win the first mid.
I've noticed a lot, and this happened in week 1 as well for Club Lugs. I was very impressed with them week 1, and it was mainly down to their defensive styles of mid, but I think Garda are just not giving it to them. They're not overextending, they're not making like these silly mistakes where they really just throw a person into this one doorway and see if they can get behind. They just focus on core principles of just getting these soldiers synced up on these fights and keeping like simple TF2. Bud makes a jump from Valley, but
and
actually got a lot of people stacked up. And yeah, actually Tantu manages to squeeze in as well. He was so good at sneaking in. I didn't see him, and I've got a camera in the sky.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. Again, causing all that chaos, Tantu can come in and just has free reign to do as much damage to Pigeon as he wants, and effectively just gets the Uber. But at the moment, the push in is not looking quite as favourable. They've lost 2. They've lost all this space, and they're back onto mid. And again, it'll turn into another staring contest on the second. But at this point, this falls into Garda Panteri's favour. They don't have to do anything. They were 1 round up. There's 4 minutes left to go. I think if I was them, I'd be chilling. Babood coming in. What a nice spot. Finds both soldiers. And again, finds that nice positioning. They're not looking at him. But Grit's looking to try and recreate what he just saw. But no! Shappy shoots him down in the end. And it's looking like a second capture here, finally, for Garda Panteri. And they're looking to take this last. They want to take that second round. They want to make sure they can't lose this game. They do find the nice opening picks. Player numbers very, very low here for the side of Club Lugs. They're finding everything they need. The Uber finally comes out for the side of Garda Panteri, but they have to be at least a little cautious of these sporting players if they don't hurry their time up. And they will in the end take the point. Really, really nice last push from Garda Panteri, not using the Uber too soon. They know they could just get in, create that pressure, and get the force before they have to use. And in the end, plays out for them.
Yes, it was a nice diet of TF2 there. Very varied, very mixed. The second seems very much like very spatially aware of what these core and the combo and the flank are doing and how they can help each other out. But then kind of just getting clutch at the end over on Garda. There was moments that they could have slipped away there if some of these players actually didn't manage to weasel their way out of these bad situations they put themselves in. So credit to Garda for showing a lot of signs of life in this game. They, oh my god, they're tired, they're angry, and they're upset over on Club Lugs. I'm sick of you playing this shitty Valley, and I'm gonna just jump straight on top of your medic and just take points from there. But when the dust settles, they've realized they've spent so many resources throwing themselves at the medic, they've got no more resources to deal with the flank team that was happening on their core, on their house, and on their concrete.
I mean, at this point, it's garbage time. They're looking to get those logs up. And at that point, it's like, right, just full send into Valley again. We'll see what we can get. And it does nearly work out. But as you say, they run out of those resources. They suddenly don't have the players that they need to finish up and clear up the fight and take the point. And in the end, it goes Garda Panteri's way.
Yeah, well, we've got 2 minutes left. If you were huffing the major copium and pretending monitors start turning off on their own volition, maybe they could make a comeback over on Club Lugs here, but everything has to go right, and it has to go. That's the key word. Go, 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 go. And there's no time for waiting Ubers. There's no time for waiting for Eevee to come up because they've just gone down. Surprisingly, there's no time to wait for Fat Pigeon either. We have to just keep digging deep, and good godness, are we just digging our own grave?
Yeah, I mean, Shappy coming and causing all the chaos, finding the picks that he needs. Loopy trying to make the play himself, but not finding anything. And at this point, it's full Uber advantage, massive player ad. It's just going to be a roll into last. But Eevee maybe hoping to try and block anything that he can. They use on points. And it's looking like they just want to take a scrap. They're not taking the point. They had players standing on the point, but they just decided to Uber. But no, never mind. They finally take that round. It's a bit odd for me on there.
God, if you could be very, very quiet in the Twitch, very quiet in the stream, you can hear the sound of a click of a pen because they're going to sign Eon. They're going to sign Eon. They're going to do the transfer fee from Plucky Lookers straight onto the squad of Garda. because it just feels like a good luck charm. This team looks monumentally better, and I'm not sure if it's just Eon has just like injected himself the cure, but they're looking way better than other previous iterations of Garda.
Yeah, I guess that they know Eon, again, a really, really good med, really comfortable with playing super aggressive. And maybe that's what they need. That's the key that they need to unlock a lot of their players. Because, again, it's great DM on most of them. And I think I agree. Eon definitely seems to be a talisman for them.
Gigi, please, my fantasy points. You can't give up with only 40 seconds left. There's still 40 legal seconds in fantasy land, and well, they're gonna lose a couple of frags, gain a couple of more points, and maybe even get a bit more stonky over on Eon. Gigi is still in this game.
What an air shot!
Is just kind of chilling out, and they'll get a bonus round for their troubles here. 20 seconds left. This is true dead time now. Nothing can be found in this amount of time.
Yeah, no, this is pretty much game over. The round's pretty much going to start. Demo's going to place their sticks, and that's game. A really surprising result, all things considered. Considering how Club Lugs were really, really entrenching themselves, digging in and digging deep, but not finding the game in the end. Some might compare the way Club Lugs play to a certain Mikel Arteta or Simeone just parking that bus on last, hoping to catch out a last push and then move forward from there, playing super defensively. But in the end, it just didn't work.
Yeah, right. I guess you know what, believe it or not, 90, I know this game was quite the shutout, but I think there were some kind of cool moments from both teams here. I really like the defensive structure or the defensive play of Club Lugs. I think the problem, though, is like they kind of sussed out these mids early, I say early, like halfway through, and then at that point, they just had reign and control of the mids. And it feels like if Club Lugs lose out on their mid supremacy, their defensive style really ends up hurting them. And also, they just had enough spice, I think, to like kind of throw the regular dance steps of Club Lugs and like how they might to make these transitions, like, just enough for them to kind of second guess or just kind of mess up a little bit and the rhythm of making a comeback. But I wouldn't say it's like the worst game Club Lugs have played or anything like that, or even bad TF2 I've seen out of surprisingly teams that are higher than these two teams, which is kind of really weird and strange. But yeah, this is still like a good thinking man's TF2 to kind of bite into, and maybe even a case of like why Metalworks second is not that bad. 90, reconsider.
Well, think about it. Maybe I'm too low a div to fully appreciate the second point on Metalworks, but no, I mean I don't think the 4-0 scoreline really tells the full story of what we watched. I think they just lost 2 rounds at the end, just sloppy. It was lose mid. We've lost our mid. It's fully rad for other team, and it's full player, and it's got massive player ad, and they're just losing at last. Compared to the first two, it was nail biting. They didn't really get that first round until 10 minutes in, or 10 minutes to go rather. So maybe we'll see something different. The DM players are definitely favours Garda on this Gullywash, so I think maybe we'll see the same similar scoreline on this one. For Garda, but maybe Lugs can pull it out. Loopy definitely impressed me in terms of their scouts. I think he was really trying to make things happen. So maybe we'll see Loopy really come into their own on this map.
Yeah, maybe. I would love to get into map picks and bans and whatnot and the psychology of who won what, but these teams are keeping their cards close to their chest. They've been very brief about who picked what, and by saying not who picked what, they just said, oh, we're playing Metal and Gully. Figure it out, casters. So, oh, okay, thanks. Thanks, Garda. Thanks, Club Lugs. So I am going to take an educated guess that the Metalwork pick was actually the pick of Club Lugs. They won this map quite comfortably and looked really strong in their week 1 game, which is, I think, the only game they've won in the season so far against Explosive Dogs. And they probably thought they would have this a better time fighting them on this. So I'm a little worried because obviously this assumes that Gullywash is the map pick of Garda, and they had a real case of just showing them kind of the boot over on Metalworks. But who knows? These two teams, they're not the highest right now, so maybe it also shows that they don't really know their strengths and weaknesses too well. It happens all the time in TF2, where you're kind of blindsided, or maybe even get a bit overconfident. But yeah, so this will be, let's just say it'll be squeaky bum time for Club Lugs in this Gullywash.
Yeah, no, I agree. We'll have to see how it plays out. But at the moment, really...
did we start? I'm not sure if we
Yeah, I was going to say, have we started? Because...
it was a restart. I was thinking, okay, I'm opening my 4D chess mind and so we rushed the medics with the scout. He is rolling out.
The soldier was healing on his rollout. I was like, the medic's not following him. What's going on there?
You just need to get better at the game, 90. Do you not know about the healing rollout? This guy.
No, as I say, maybe too loaded to suss that one out.
Right.
But it's looking like a very.
It's another. There's another fake. It's the fake for the fake. But this is, I'm sure TF2 is very comparable to baseball. This is the third strike now. That surely this is the time that these teams are going to get started pretty soon. Well, I guess maybe we're just getting all the config set up and whatnot. I know why, 90. It's because we haven't praised any of these players. Is there any players that from that previous match that you thought did a pretty swell job, and then once their egos are in check, we can get started on our Gullywash?
Oh, my two picks has to go towards Bood and Tantu. Soldiers really making things happen on the side of the Garda Panteri. Always finding the picks that they need, creating that space. While the space created isn't something you often see on a log or can't see on a log, they definitely made plenty of space for their team, and I think that was ultimately the difference maker.
Yes, I am actually going to do the on-contrary thing of casters, and I'm actually going to stamp your Bud pick. I thought Bud did a fantastic job that game. I really liked his gameplay for that one, so he's going to get another verified stamp from me. And look, we're actually started now. If you're just joining us, it is our Gullywash game. It's Club Lugs versus Garda Panteri, and whilst we're massacring each other and literally throwing each other at the wall and seeing what breaks, we really are just going straight into W keys, aren't we? This is Gullywash, Toa Tabs, 90. 90, we didn't have time to cast that game because I barely got into the intro. What happened on that mid?
Effectively, both soldiers create lots of space, lots of damage, and it just came down to scrappy scout fights. Again, Loopy doing a nice job, but not finding the meat shots in the end to finish the fight. And now here comes the Uber for it's now the trade. It's like a very scrappy escape and fight in this choke now. And again, back out to this second. Maybe a little too overzealous on coming forward, because the spawners were all coming up for Club Lugs. And now we're back to building Uber, running sacks, and again another staring contest.
Well, you don't see that every day, 90. I've seen medics forced to stickies. I've seen medics forced to situations and time. I've seen medics obviously forced from fear of soldier jumps. I've never seen medics forced from embarrassment before. I think they just both went in with their scouts. All of them missed their shots, and they were like, oh, this is usually the part we click the Uber, and they just click the Uber just to save them the embarrassment, and then they just both formally gentleman's man agree out of their second point. Wonderful, magnificent. Eon taking a lot of damage early on, and now he has to pop this Uber for realsies this time. No embarrassment shared, and well, Loopy gets a nice solo YOLO Uber, but doesn't want to pass the choke line, and wants to kind of potentially roll the dice for his team. He's got to back off here and just keep it very safe than sorry.
I mean, meat shots hit this time, but ultimately, like a broken record, we had the same outcome. Both teams ending up leaving through that choke. And again, another staring contest where we're having another build. Maybe at this point it's time to switch it up from choke. Let's try a big door.
No, 90. Look, it's not a race now against damage. It's a race on the Ubercharge. These two teams are just beating each other in the face to build that Ubercharge quick enough and faster enough than the enemy team. But you're right. They've actually decided to switch things up at Big Door this time. They've lost their advantage that they might perceive they have, but they should definitely know about now. And nope, we're going back to choke. Why change? One, we can just stick with tradition, as they'll jump in. Bud gets killed off by going down traditionally in a soldier scrap, and the other flank team is just holding out, looking out at Big Door, because they know it's all trapped up and they can't really contribute without throwing one life away.
Yeah, I mean, Bud coming in, trying to make that space, trying to find that entry frag to get his team in, but unfortunately he'll just go down for his troubles. Yalin also caught behind. It's either they're just forcing to try and make things happen, and now people are dying one by one. And now that's just invited Club Lugs forward. Shappy in this Big Door, looking to try and find a pick, but they've all come through choke. But oh no, he's gone behind. He's looking for that back cap, but then he's going to find it.
No, he can't go for the back cap. He has to go for the big pick on Fat Pigeon. Fat Pigeon is brought down.
Oh, he gets the pick!
Low, links up with Bud.
Gets the demo! Gets the scout!
Oh my goodness, they just
going off!
I looked away, but I was looking away from fireworks. These two team members have managed to clutch it completely for Garda, and Eon is going to pay the price for it. No, but
Loopy,
okay.
Getting the salvage, fighting Eon and all that, and suddenly, actually, it's better for Club Lugs. They come forward, they have the picks that they need.
No,
never mind, I lie.
Better for Garda. They're winning.
They have the spawners again on this mid, and Garda are going to have to go back out. So never mind. It does now finally go the way of Club Lugs.
No,
they are now committing to choke. They do commit. Trying to find that damage. Oh, but they're going to find it in the end. But no, it does. Hold on. Hold breath. Now it goes the way of Club Lugs. Have a breather.
Is it true? Is it believable? Is there a secret? Another thing? Shappy is taking another corner goblin spot. His team has told him, "What the fuck are you doing? Get back!" And he does get back, and they're all pushing Big Door. There's no real defense setup on second because they will lose this Ubercharge fight if they commit around this second point. So they play it safe. They go back to last, and my goodness, have you ever seen such a back and forth on mid?
Yeah, I think while Shappy getting those 3 picks, and we're coming in immediately. No time to reminisce. They do find that sentry gun early on. And they have that scout on point, standing on the circle. Uber finally comes out for both teams, and it's looking like a little bit of a scrappy one. They're just trying to find that player ad. No one is on circle again. Yalin trying to find that first pick, and he does it. He even picks though, and he's trying to pick up someone. It's not going to work. It's 3 players alive left on both sides. Loopy going off in the end. That's going to cap the point.
Damn, that was like the mid and corner. At first I was thinking, okay, wait, no, they've got it over on Garda. Wait, no, it's actually going Club Lugs. Okay, Club Lugs are losing this. It's going to go Garda. They were literally their attention was being torn in 7 different places. They kept looking at point. They kept looking back at the door. The demo man was spamming from river, but there's actually somebody in concrete. Oh god, it's so all disorientating. And in that disorientation, they end up sharing the same damage and dying.
Yeah, I think Club Lugs focus that point and they win. Garda very, very sporadic. But we come back on this mid now. Nothing happening too much. Tantu trying to get some kind of pick. Not going to find it. And very slow to start off with. Finally, Dem goes down for the side of Garda Panteri. But the health numbers are looking so good. It's the trading picks backwards and forwards. The scouts from Garda Panteri really trying to stick their claws in and try and win this mid. And it's looked like they're going to. It's 2 scouts versus 1 scout. And they're just going to take this point. And it's going to be another staring contest on second. Unless they decide to roll forward with these spawners.
Very clutch from Garda there. Tantu kind of took a very early love tap from a rocket at the start. Yarlin, what are we doing, son? What are we doing? Do we think we don't have rockets at choke? We've got an Ubercharge. Why would we not leave? Why would we leave choke at all? And Gotti gets swiftly reminded, so now he has to wait for him to come back up. But as I was saying, basically Tantu took an early rocket that mid, very early, a love tap, and had to weasel his way back to elbow and take some medic loving from Eon, which left Demir pissing in the wind because he was wondering, hey, where's my medic? And he ends up going down. But thank goodness that God has come out so clutch and managed to turn these little fights around despite being a demo man down so early.
Yeah, It's definitely tough when you have someone die very early and you're trying to make things happen. But in the end, it's just like, you know what, guys, reset. Let's just stay on mid. Let's not rush things. And they have decided to rotate their combo into big door. They want to try and get in. Whether the space can be made from big door or from choke, we'll have to see. The soldier's not really making huge amounts of impact just yet. Having said that, Tantu has finally gone forward. Shappy is in this baby door, hoping to try and find that scout pick in lobby. It's a bit of a beef from both sides, but does get cleaned up. But they do manage to find Eevee in all of this. Uber pops out for the side of Garda, but finally that pigeon pops back. They nearly dropped their demo, but the demo does live. And it's all falling apart now for Garda. They're all stuck on this second point. They're looking to try and maybe get some picks and try to salvage. That pigeon taken really, really low. But I think in the end it's not going to matter. And they're going to clean up everyone on this second and come forward.
Okay, I don't think the combo or the flank were really sending out their quarterly reports there. Basically, they said
Shappy's going to go again!
Oh
no!
Kill. Like, what the hell? A scout isn't supposed to stand on top of there. Gives him the psych play again. This mid seems to be a playground for Shappy. As he's doing a wonderful masterclass and just picking up the slack for his Garda comrades.
Yeah, he's always in places that, it's I'm gonna check. We've counted the spawners. They surely are all forward. No, Shappy lurking in the shadows, making sure that his team has the uber advantage, that they need to come forward. Eon looked to be in a little bit of trouble there, but in the end, Grix taken down. And now, Garda look to try and use this player advantage to muscle their way onto mid. And they're going to find it. Combo now moving in through big door. They're trying to pick up that demo. It just about lives for now. But now finally taken down. They're going to have to flee to last. And they are. They're running through river, trying to get back onto that last. Maybe try and get that river for the last push. But we'll have to see. Heavy and the off-class is all coming up. Do Garda decide to take this quickly? So far, they're just sort of looking in shutter, peeking, see what they can make happen. But at the moment, I think they're just going to rotate back through river and see what they can do there. But no, they do now finally have the opportunity to try and tie up those rounds, but it is evens. We'll have to see what happens. Yalin is on this sniper. What can he do?
Yes, they have got the sniper. Basically, this is going to be the...
he finds the pick onto Fat Pigeon!
That is a drop. First shot, first kill, first easy medic drop onto Fat Pigeon. And go, go, go. The red light means go, believe it or not, for Garda. We send the scout straight into water. He's going to deal with Gigi, but he doesn't even need to. They just spend so much time there, almost morally bankrupt over on poor Club Lugs after that medic drop.
I mean, at that point, that's the go. That's the go signal. They have no heals. There's no Uber to deny. Just get the players forward. Get as many people in and just swarm the point. And that's what they did. And we're now 1-1 on this Gullywash.
All right, so we've got the tiebreaker. We've got some morale backup for Garda, and these mids have actually been very Garda-centric to say that everything could possibly go wrong with them, so they're going to have to just play very squeaky clean over on Club Lugs if you want to overpower them. GG starts off strong by getting the pick onto Tantu. I already like this already, but God, where did Yalin get those kills? He's just managed to find them on their own, and well, they just back out there, losing those two early picks against Yalin.
I think that's the play. You realise, right, we're two players down. We need to make sure we get this Uber in time for the pushback. But Fat Pigeon goes down in the end. It's a huge push in through choke for the side of Garda Panteri, and it's a wipe. If they have the pace, they could take this into last immediately. They could try and Uber into main, but oh no, GG up on this spy. I've seen this before. Is he spotted out? Yes, he is.
Yeah, I think maybe, just maybe, he was spotted out, and they're already crawling over. Although they have capped Uber, thank goodness Eon actually took off the Uber for a second there, where they could have maybe managed to block in time and get all their troops for the reinforcements. Oh, they were just caught with their pants down from that second point onwards, and it spiraled from there. These mids have just not been kind of sussed out for poor Garda. For poor Club Lugs. They just lose these little fight over in these skirmishing ways, and I wonder if they need to go a bit more defensive, believe it or not, to say the defensive team.
I'm actually inclined
goodness.
to disagree that we probably just need to see some more aggression. Those soldiers need to make a little bit more impact on these mids. And so far, they've sort of found that. It's massive damage to here for the side of Club Lugs. They can come forward, but they've lost too many players, and they're going to have to leave. But no, for a little bit, they had a great thing going there. But here they come through big door. They're trying to pincer Club Lugs in their own second. Bood, it's going to be another wipe. And again, they're just going to take second, and maybe they can try and peek onto last a little bit earlier. But no, not going the way. It looked so good, but just turned sour in the end.
Yeah, they all ended up in the panic room, the panic elbow on poor Club Lugs, and they couldn't get out. They couldn't escape, and the medic managed to escape as well, but they had to just watch behind the looking glass as their poor teammates just went down and were chipped and pattered away and away from the healing arms of their medic, and they ended up slowly choked down that fight. They send two players through water to deal with Gigi. There's already pressure onto this point. Stickies have been cleared as well. Rivka not in the best spot to actually keep setting up Stickies for that last defense. I've noticed this over on Club Lugs. They don't like playing the demo man behind point, but I think after the initial sort of bust in and deal with Gigi, they've got no defenses for this last, and that's why they keep capping it so quick.
Yeah, they're just sending both those players through water. There's no one really there to deny the players, and they just get two circle standers immediately and just cap the point in seconds. Maybe this time they're gonna find the ingredients that they need to make these mids work. As everyone was really low last time, can they find it again? And so far, nothing too much happening. Eevee going very high, but starting to fade. And no, we're back, just looking at each other. They've invited the pressure here from Garda Panteri. They trade Grix for Tantu here. Both soldiers no longer available for Garda Panteri, but still both scouts. They're now just looking to lead through last. They know they can't probably pincer as easily, so it's just another. It's going to be a mid for Garda and a second hold here for Club Lugs.
Yeah, lots of aura kind of being given out by Bird and Tantu. They're not actually opting to go straight in for the jump. They just play their respective little corners and spam and just be annoying and bait these scouts into unsavory fights, and they win out those fights, and then the numbers is enough for just Garda to win out the mid alone and kind of force the hand, or at least the S key, out of Club Lugs. Oh, we might be stuck in the corner here for Club Lugs. They're humouring the idea of coming in over on Garda, but they won't actually commit in this time. This was the fatal mistake that ended up making them lose so much in the previous round.
Shappy still causing a lot of chaos in that baby doll era going into their last. And he's bought his team a little bit of time. They can't really utilise that play around that they did have. But I think they're just going to try and send it now. They've got their combo and their pocket soldier playing in through the big door. They're trying to find those entry picks, get a nice direct onto his opposite man. But in the end, Eevee does go down. It's despite the damage numbers, they just can't find any picks in the end. And it's looking like Garda are going to force their way in through choke, and they have. Careful of this soldier hiding above them. But now Uber has popped. The trade has come out. It's even players so far, but the Garda have dropped their demo.
Oh my!
And
God,
it's super messy here. Loopy trying to pump out some damage, trying to salvage this fight now. Can he find the pick onto Eon? No, he can't. And in the end, it's looking like Club Lugs have come undone yet again. Oh, an air shot there from Tantu to seal the deal. And just like that, Rivka's got to run.
Okay, bit of an arm wrestle for those two teams there. I feel like maybe Garda kind of showing off a little bit. Bud gets the bonus kill against Rivka. That's a big pick.
Yeah, is Rivka on 70 FOV? I mean, we saw him walk in through the stairs. I just decided to ignore him, and he gets the pick for free. And now that's massive for Garda Panteri. They're able just to come forward now. There's no stickies on point. If they want to try and bin this, they can. They've got heavy for last. We've seen this work on maps like Metalworks, so we'll see how it does. They're opting to come in through Launchpad, which is not something we see every day. The sentry gun does go down. They have the circle standards immediately. And that cap is getting capped awful quick. Yalin in that secret area looking to try and make something happen. And it does finally go the way of Garda Panteri. I like this heavy on last.
I feel like the heavy didn't really do too much there. I'd love to see maybe the damage output of that heavy weapons guy on that last point. I think the biggest factor that heavy brings is like a lightning rod of attention. When your enemy heavy comes out and he's like, oh, there's a heavy, and I need to keep shooting him, and you're not shooting at the soldier that's right next to you that you'd be doing 50 damage to per bullet. You're doing like all these fires, rat-tat-tat-tats, far, far away. So, kind of an idiot lightning rod, I think. But it did work out for them. They did win the point, but I think that's just more the point pressure with no Demoman to reel back up on that point.
You might be right, but I think it's that chip damage which allows them to grab those picks. But here comes GG looking to find those picks. Again, those player numbers are going so low, but not finding anything. Aeon does get taken down. This is the mid that Club Lugs need, but Fat Pigeon goes down in the end. Oh, it was so close to perfect, but in the end, not going to be able to find anything. And GG picks up his opposite man and goes forward, and it might just be Club Lugs looking to take another round.
Oh, Fat Pigeon cannot just catch a break. We won quite comfortably there, but it seems she's going to be checking her closet for like Shappy every single sleep this month, I think, as it just managed to get the kill onto her. And what went right for Club Lugs, I think, was all the aggression was kind of spent just kind of waddling up, and if you're waddling up, that's less rockets and damage and time spent on movement, whilst Bud and Tantu had a nice picks early on, but they're spending like half their rockets bouncing around, jumping around, and that's less damage output, that's less like impact and space taken because they have to reset back again. So they're back at last now, paying the price for it, and good god, Loopy feeling himself, thinking he can just play the point because Tantu is struggling a little bit on finding these rockets onto Loopy, but kind of ends up being baited in a way, you know? That's one of the plays where if you actually...
Here comes the crunch!
Bud, just Grix managed to find the shots in the counter against Bud enough, but I like the jump, I like the decision making from Bud, and I like the timing as well. Because even if you lose out here on Bud, you don't really get punished too hard.
No, and Club Lugs are really trying to make that two players in water work, trying to get that pressure onto point. Trying to get those eyes away, and they have done it again. Two players are in water, but have they been found out? Yes, they have. Player health is very low for both players. They just have to leave. At this point, I think the extra soldier is probably better used and trying to get that in the sentry gun. But what do I know? Again, just pressuring into this river, trying to make something happen. Loopy not finding anything in the end, and they have
soldiers,
to leave.
That's not fair. That's not fair. This is supposed to be an honourable exchange between the water scout, and the high air soldier. So he ends up getting 2v1s there. I would like all of this play better if they were actually running a sniper. But there we go. Okay, Loopy's come back on sniper. Now, this abuses... for many reasons, obviously. Many things can happen on Gullywash. It makes it very pressurized, and Sniper likes it when the pressure is off him. Also, you can punish Aeon here, who likes to help Tantu a lot from this initial pad area to Tantu's taking these exchanges. Look, he's already pre-peeking to get the jump onto him. Sadly, though, Bud clocks it pretty early and gets the pick onto Loopy. And I think this would have worked out better if the pressure from the point came first and then Loopy revealed himself.
Yeah, I have to agree. And Grix also follows suit, just trying to get it out from water and just gets picked up. And now, if you're Garda Panteri, I don't think you really need to push out. I think you're comfortable sitting on last. You're 3 rounds up, the clock's ticking down, you don't need to do anything. And you have that Uber available to you if everything goes tits up. So I think they're just going to sit pretty on this last point.
They've switched snipers here, so I wonder if Loopy either says, I'm the better... Oh, good. I hope he didn't say I'm the better scout, because he ended up taking a fat sticky trap in the doorway there when they wanted to go. They do lose Bud, but this is fine. It's a trade. They're only losing 1 for 1. Sniper getting brave, going for the hero shot, doesn't find it, as Aeon is nicely positioned between a post, a dispenser. I mean, if he could be more... he's got a soldier and like a pyro. He's got like 5 layers of people between him and the sniper. Maybe if the Machina was allowed, he could maybe get that shot.
Yeah, maybe. I think the swap on the snipers is a case of TL said it's my turn on the sniper, and they've swapped out. But we do come in here. Shappy has gone down early. There's no engineer to replenish any sentry guns, but Yalin on this pyro really denying the rest of the team. But oh no! Look, Loopy's on. Oh no!
It's overtime. The time keeps ticking, and Grix is like, if I'm a good sniper, I need to show it now. Nope, I'm dead.
Nope. No, can't do anything there. Oh, Eevee getting reflected here, and they're not unfortunately going to find that cap at that point. Loopy really pulling out at the end, but just not quite enough time.
I think... Oh, man. I wonder if that was actually a body block onto the point, or if they just managed to kill him before he could cap it. But I'd have to look back at the tape, but... That was the only play that could have gone wrong there. Tantu kind of missing up and trying to push the line against Loopy there, and could have potentially lost the round for his team. But, you know, they got some wiggle room here. 6 minutes left, 4 rounds on the scoreboard against the 1. They've got time to make mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Not the end of the world if they've lost that round. It's like, right, there's 6 minutes left and it's 4-minute round timer. We could sit on second if we really wanted to. But here we are.
What's Bud doing?
Yeah, Bud. Keen to serve. But never mind. Eon goes down.
Oh my God.
Goes massive on their side of point here, and it's not looking so good for Garda. All the health numbers are so low, and again, Club Lugs, they've cracked the code on this mid, and they've taken another one.
Bud and Yarlin just kind of getting absorbed into the environment, like, okay, I'm piecing out and I'm letting my team to die here. I think we're kind of having fun things now over on Garda. I think any soldier that has about 10 solid seconds of eye line on to him while he's surfing on the kind of little slidey roof is any sort of troll.
Oh, he's finally been... Yalin really... hoping he can, maybe he's trying to look for that pick onto Fat Pigeon, but does get spotted in the end. But it does now mean his team is going to be fighting 5v6 on this last. But they do find a trade so far. Loopy goes down, and so does GG. Eevee as well, Grit as well. Oh, it's a massacre! But only Demo alive here for Club Lugs. And Fat Pigeon goes down. This is proving a disaster. And Garda hang on to that last point, and they'll just take second.
I don't mean to say I told you so, but they had a demo man behind point. Demir was behind point, and sure, he had like the worst case scenario against him. A soldier was rushing him at water. He still dealt with that and delayed point long enough. So, you know, I'm just saying that water's demo pretty cool. And they're going to take another fight through and push on through Big Door over on Garda. They have to run away over on Club Lugs because they haven't got that Uber charge. So pick a door, any door, it's free here, 90.
Yeah, just free. Everyone's free to walk in. It's again, Matt. The threat of that Uber charge is too great to bear, and now they've walked into the second point. They haven't capped it. They're looking to take a little bit more though. They're trying to get in onto this lobby, so maybe they can try and find that early pushing to last. They found 2 picks, but Bud does go down for it. Yalin also finding another soldier in River. It's looking really good here for the side of Garda. They could just take this in now.
Yeah, they have got an Uber charge to deal with, so Fat Pigeon will defend this point for at least 10 seconds. And there we go, we've popped it now because we want to keep Loopy alive and we want to keep Rivka alive. But they've gone for frags instead. I say frags, they've gone for a couple of skirmishes and then they just backed out. Mission accomplished for Garda.
Yeah, and Garda can't stay on that to pressure. They realise the Uber's come out and they've just come back. But Club Lugs now know they have to try and make something happen here. I mean, maybe it's getting out of point, maybe not another round. They have to fight in this lower. They've got to make something happen. They've got to try and find a force. But unfortunately, Grix goes down early. Loopy has gone behind, trying to find that demo, but it's all falling apart now. Are they going to put... Eon nearly goes down, but uses that Uber charge in the end. And at this point, they can take their play around forward and try and cap this point.
But he's fighting on point. He's pushing off all these enemy team members and keeps himself alive long enough to get his feet on the point, allow his scout get on the point unpressured, and they just cap it out in all the sort of crazy misfiring. I think that entire play just came down to maybe they entirely sure what Garda were doing. Usually a team starts capping up second, really, and that's a real good indicator for your game sense about where the game is going. But they spent so much time and effort actually trying to bypass that. It was a secondary objective past them getting into lobby and just getting some skirmishes and just some, spanners in the works of poor Club Lugs. It's a very atypical game, I think, at that point. And I think Garda can afford to play like that because they've got their little cushion of rounds, and it just makes it go from bad to worse. Any sort of adaptation from Club Lugs to plug up the holes kind of gets outdone by just weird TF2 at this point.
Yeah, and I also think the veterancy maybe on Garda is showing over. They know what to do on these, especially where momentum maybe had shifted. Club Lugs winning 2 mids, they could have taken 2 rounds, but they dig their heels in and deny those rounds. And maybe any momentum going forward. We've got the logs up, and Bud really putting in numbers again, I think. Again, probably my pick for player of the game. 338 DPN, and Yalin also not doing too bad here on Scout with 300 with 25 frags.
Bud just did such a wonderful job of doing those non-super flashy plays as Soldier. He felt like every decision he was making just felt correct. It reminded me of maybe Pappy a bit more in his earlier seasons and whatnot, where it was just these really solid decisions and makings and kind of scooping out his team and just being the linchpin for making a plan go forward. And honestly, if I could have enough control of the crowd, I would make them stand up from their chairs, fucking salute Bud, because this was just a wonderful game to watch from him. Very nice. And obviously a nice little place from Shappy as well, kind of, plugging the holes for his team. A lot of times they would have got punished by Club Lugs if he wasn't just shooting Fat Pigeon in the back. Oh, yeah.
Shappy just seems to find those little nooks and crannies to hide in, and he's picked up Fat Pigeon twice on momentum shifts where really it should be going Club Lugs' way. Shappy manages to snake his way in and find a pick onto Fat Pigeon, and ultimately I think that's probably what kept them in the race when it looked ropey, when Garda were dropping fights. But no, ultimately I think it's a combination of all those factors that just give Garda a comfortable win here.
Magical. All right, Nighty. I've heard that the other game is still going over on Frost Hazard TF2. So just in good nature and in good spirit, we should probably start kicking all those viewers and watchers and head on over to there, because I'm curious to see what happens. And so that means we have to say goodbye. So goodbye from Garda, goodbye from Club Lugs, goodbye from TurboTabs, goodbye from Nighty.
Yep, goodbye. Have a lovely evening. And shout out to Burn to a Christ out there.
And goodbye from Samus on production. We'll see you over in Frost Hazard TF2. See you then.
Bye-bye.